I'm a bicultural Indian American woman. My mom is 100% Indian. My dad is American. He's got German and British heritage. I don't know a single person who is passionate about issues of race and culture and identity that it's not personal for them in some way. And it's personal for me. And to explain that, I want to actually tell you a little bit about my mom's story first. So my mom is 100% Indian, but she grew up, was born and raised in an Indian village in Uganda, Africa. And, you know, it's an interesting day to be having this conversation because it's the Juneteenth holiday. My mom, my family understands slavery from a very different perspective. Her family, her great-great-grandfather, along with many, many other Indians, were forced by the British to go to Africa to build the railroads across Uganda and elsewhere. And it just so happened that they started falling in love and having families and decided to make Indian villages there, and that's why she grew up in Uganda. Fast forward to the 60s, President Idi Amin decides to wage a genocide against the Indians, and everyone is forced to flee. My mom and her family had to just run out of their home, leave everything behind. It was very hard to be an Indian here. Indian food wasn't popular yet, and there were very few Indian restaurants. And my birth is a story of racism and problems of racial cross-cultural relations in our country. When my mom was giving birth to me in South Carolina, the doctors refused to help her. So she got to the hospital first. My dad wasn't there yet. She was put in a room by herself, and no doctor or no nurse would even enter into the room. And if my dad hadn't come, she probably would have given birth to me by myself there. Fast forward to me growing up. I've spoken at national conferences where people have refused to talk to me. I've been refused service at restaurants. Just 3 months ago now, I took my son to the doctor because he had bronchitis. The doctor refused to give us medicine for him. It was an issue of mistaken identity. He thought I was Latina, which is another issue in East Austin. Everyone calls me Miss Reyes because they assume a woman with brown skin walking around with 2 kids must be a single mom. And it wasn't until I got Aaron to come to the doctor that my son was able to get medicine for bronchitis. How could this issue not be personal for me? And so in my own life, in our ministry, in East Austin, where we're reaching out to other minorities, not necessarily Indian American, but Latin American, African American, Asian American, I get their pain because their pain is my pain. Their struggle is my struggle. And we feel that we've dedicated our life to holding the Bible in one hand and the reality of the streets in our other, and asking God, what do you want us to do about this? How do we make a difference? How do we make something beautiful of this mess? And we live in this reality that we refuse to accept how the world is. We have this vision of what God has said, that we as people should be united, and it's beautiful. And our mission is to make that reality on earth as it is in heaven.
Amen. Amen.